Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Diane Festino, Township Clerk of Jackson Township. The time is now 7:30 PM and welcome to our regular council meeting of May 10th, 2022. We'll begin with a roll call. Councilman Borelli.
Here.
Councilman Chisholm.
Here.
Councilman Sawicki.
Here.
Council Vice President Curran is absent this evening. Council President Fleming.
Here.
Attorney Gregory McGuckin.
Here.
Also present this evening is our Assistant Business Administrator Samantha Novak and Mayor Michael Reyna. As clerk of this meeting, I publicly announce that in compliance with the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been advertised in the manner prescribed by law. This statement shall be entered into the minutes. We'll continue with opening comments from Township Council. Councilman Borelli.
Thank you, Clerk Festino. I'd like to speak on a resolution I proposed. I want to thank Council President Fleming for placing it on tonight's agenda. Resolution 226R-22 is in support of Senate Bill S-1697 and companion Assembly Bill A-757. And it's in support of the state of New Jersey allowing certain firefighters and rescue and first aid squads to be able to claim a $5,000 income tax deduction. Both bills are sponsored by the 9th District All Republican Legislative Delegation, including other Republican state legislators. Thank you to Assemblyman McGuckin for co-sponsoring. Under the bill, firefighters may claim the $5,000 deduction if they volunteer during the entire tax year, perform 60% of fire duty, and by January 1st of the tax year, attain the range of firefighter 1 certified. Rescue and first aid squad members may claim the $5,000 deduction if they volunteer during the entire tax year as well, perform 10% of rescue duty, and by January 1st of the tax year, either passed an approved training program or qualified as an EMT. Volunteer firefighters and rescue squad and first aid members are brave and selfless and give so much of their time and themselves to protect and save lives and keep our town safe and secure 24/7. And they save taxpayers money because they volunteer. This council will always support them, and these bills pending in the state legislature will provide them the tax relief they deserve for their service. I want to encourage our town's fire and EMS officials and members to find out more about these bills by visiting the New Jersey Legislature website, and I urge them to call and or email State Senate President Nicholas Kateri at 908-587-0404 732-827-7480 to post Senate Bill S-1697 for a vote, and Assembly Speaker Craig Coughlin at 732-855-7441 to post Assembly Bill A-757 for a vote. If the resolution passes tonight, maybe we can get it placed on the township website. In closing, I want to encourage residents to attend the Jackson Memorial Day Parade on Monday, May 30th at 10 a.m. Come out to honor our veterans and heroes who made the ultimate sacrifice in defense of our great country. The parade will start at Holman's Elementary School, proceed down at Manhattan Street, and end in Johnson Park, where there will be a ceremony, food vendors, giveaways, and activities for children. A big thank you to the Jackson PBA and Jackson VFW for organizing this event, and hopefully we'll get nice weather for it. Good seeing you all. Have a good evening and take care now.
Thank you. Councilman Chisholm.
Hello, good evening. First, happy belated Mother's Day to all the moms out there. No tougher job than all of those work-at-home moms. So hope you had a great day. Would like to echo Councilman Borelli's comments on Memorial Day. Hopefully you'll get out there. If you want to march in the parade, there's still openings. If you want to join any of our volunteers or public service organizations, if not, just come on out and support those and bring your kids out so that they understand what Memorial Day is really all about. It's not just another day off from school. We also have another great event coming up on June 26th, our food trucks and fireworks. This will be our second year of that. So it's a great opportunity to come on out. Hopefully you'll get out there and enjoy some fun with your neighbors. Also, I'd like to bring to your attention HR 419. This is a bill that is desperately needed. Many of you guys may be familiar with the WHO, the World Health Organization. I can't say the WHO because these guys definitely are not somebody we want to say long live rock to. These guys would like to steal your constitutional rights. And unfortunately, Democrats in Washington, D.C. are pushing to have the international health regulations that were once passed in 2005 extended. They would not affect state sovereignty, according to what they had originally proposed. The new proposed amendments to the existing international health regulations, along with pending pandemic treaty, is being drafted right now, would vastly expand the authority of the resources of the WHO. The amendments and the treaty would threaten state sovereignty, triggered by the expansion of the legal power of the CDC. We've already seen what these clowns can do for the last 2 years. Fauci should be investigated along with the rest of them and his ilk. And they need to be in jail where they belong. They can now detain and examine Americans solely on the statements of unelected WHO leaders. These are not people from the United States. These are not people that have any authority to stop or examine you or your health. The WHO, excuse me, and its members are immune to any liability for international agreement. So the American Constitution will not protect Americans when it comes to the actions of the WHO. There's no transparency, no accountability. They can track you and become a global health governance body, which would undermine any of your health and security. So you will have no rights before them. And these bureaucrats will have the opportunity to check your health and allow you to do what you want to do, including stop you from traveling. So if you have the opportunity, you should contact your congressman. So reach out to Congressman Smith and tell him to support HB 419. Also call your senators. I realize it's New Jersey and that will be falling on deaf ears. However, let them know where you stand and tell them no to yet another bureaucratic overreach, especially from the international community. This is America and we need to stand up. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you. Councilman Sawicki.
Thank you. I'll try to be brief. Again, for everybody, happy Mother's Day. I hope everyone had a great weekend. And thanks for everybody that came out tonight. I just wanted to briefly update the residents of the town on something the council brought to the state's attention back in 2020. Right in the height of the pandemic, it was no surprise, I think, to most of the residents in town that when everyone needed to be working from home, the subpar service that we already had from what we know as Optimum or Cablevision just got exponentially worse as more people were home and needed their internet. This council in late 2020 filed a complaint with the Board of Public Utilities, which has oversight on cable and the franchise agreements that are given between cable, internet, and municipalities. I believe we were the first town to follow up with a second complaint after we really got no response from the first one. And what I wanted to update everyone was on a letter that our township attorney, Mr. McGuckin, and his firm followed up with only a couple of weeks ago. And it's with regards to what's called the American Community Survey, which rates cable television and internet service providers. And I'm paraphrasing, but it says, while the residents of Jackson Township are certainly not surprised by the results, the fact is that after promising to expend substantial funds to improve their infrastructure in the state of New Jersey in order to receive approval to purchase their predecessor, which was Cablevision or Optimum, Altice, as it's known now, remains at the bottom of each of these categories. Respectfully, the Township of Jackson is left to wonder whether the Board of Public Utilities will take appropriate action against Altice, since it is clear they have intentionally misled the board with respect to their promises of infrastructure improvements to their system. Altice promised these improvements. The BPU relied upon those promises and granted them approval. We urge the board to enforce its original approval against this entity and further urge the board to impose substantial penalties for their failure to honor their obligations to their captive audience, our constituents. So I just want to make sure the residents of town know that we haven't forgotten about this. It's something that's been going on, frankly, before 2020. 2020, frankly, for this council was the last straw when everyone had to be home during a pandemic and get their jobs done. Their children needed to work from home. And the service has just continued to be awful. We're all residents of this town. I work from home quite a bit myself, and I can tell you it cuts out on me all the time. So I appreciate Mr. McGuckin and his firm continuing to keep the pressure on, and you can be sure this council will do the same thing. Thank you all, and safe travels getting home tonight.
Thank you. Council President Fleming.
Thank you. It's nice to see a few more people in the audience, and it's very nice to see some of our younger citizens here. Get involved. We're going to need you. Other than that, I'm going to waive my comments for tonight, and we will continue with the evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Michael Reyna, do you have anything to add?
I'll waive them tonight. Council's been very informative. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll proceed with the motion to approve executive session meeting minutes of April 26, 2022.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Borelli?
Yes.
Councilman Chisholm?
Yes.
Councilman Suweki?
Abstain?
And Council President Fleming?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. We're going to continue with a proclamation regarding brain tumor awareness read into the record by Mayor Michael Reyna.
Thank you. Whereas nearly 6,000 children and adolescents will be diagnosed with a brain tumor in the U.S. in 2022. And whereas childhood cancer is the #1 disease-related killer of kids in the U.S., and brain tumors are the most deadly type. Despite significant progress over the last several decades, survival rates for certain brain cancers remain perilously low. Brain cancer represents approximately 30% of total childhood cancer deaths. And whereas 200 to 400 children in the U.S. are diagnosed with diffused intrinsic pontine glioma, DIPG, every year, a brain cancer with a 0% survival rate. Most of these kids will live less than a year after diagnosis of DIPG. And whereas childhood cancer is on the rise, averaging 0.7% increase per year since 1975. And whereas, because of their location, some pediatric brain tumors and their required treatments can cause significant long-term impairment to intellectual and neurological function. And whereas, the causes of most childhood cancers are unknown, and at the present, childhood cancer cannot be prevented. And families who are or have been in treatment work tirelessly to change these alarming statistics. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Michael Reyna, Mayor of the Township of Jackson, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, do hereby proclaim May 2022 as Brain Tumor Awareness Month and May 17th as DIPG Awareness Day. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Ordinances for second reading, there are none at this time. Ordinances for first reading, Ordinance 14-22, an ordinance of the Township of Jackson, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 235 of the Township Code of the Township of Jackson to regulate real estate and other temporary signs. Motion to approve Ordinance 14-22 on first reading and to authorize a notice of approval and public hearing to be held on May 24th, 2022.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Chisholm.
Yes.
Councilman Suweki.
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes.
Ordinance 15-22, an ordinance of the Township of Jackson, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, amending Ordinance 31-21, establishing the salary range for all of the various officials and employees of the township for the year 2022 and thereafter. Motion to approve Ordinance 15-22 on first reading and to authorize a notice of approval and public hearing to be held on May 24th, 2022.
Roll call, please. Or motion, please.
A motion.
Excuse me. Thank you. Sorry. Always gonna be a long night.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Chisholm.
Yes.
Councilman Suweki.
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes.
Ordinance 16-22, an ordinance authorizing the acquisition of additional real property from the states of New Jersey Department of Transportation pursuant to NJSA 40A:12-5. Motion to approve Ordinance 16-22 on first reading and to authorize a notice of approval and public hearing to be held on May 24th, 2022.
So moved.
Madam Clerk, the number on that is wrong. Unless that should be 1722.
A real property.
Oh, yes, that's
And
correct.
you skipped
Oh, the
1622.
construction container.
Yes, okay, so that ordinance should be number 17-22.
Okay. I still have a motion in a second.
Yes.
And a roll call, please, for 1722.
Thank you. Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Chisholm. Councilman Sawicki.
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes.
Okay, now let me get the right ordinance for 1622. 1622 is an ordinance of the Township of Jackson, County of Ocean, State of New Jersey, creating Chapter 163 entitled Construction Containers. Motion to approve ordinance 16-22 on first reading and to authorize the notice of approval and public hearing to be held on May 24th, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Chisholm. Councilman Sawicki.
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll now continue with council discussion on resolutions only.
I have one little bit on resolution under the consent agenda, but it's still resolution 226R22. I will have to abstain from that because I feel it's a little too self-serving.
Okay.
Not that I'm not in favor of it. I just don't think I should vote on it.
Okay, very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now continue with public comment, opened on resolutions only. At this time, anyone wishing to speak on resolutions, please address the council at the microphone. Identify yourself for the record.
Seeing no one come forward, move to close the public portion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Continue with resolutions. 218R-22, authorizing issuance of junkyard license for calendar year 2022 to A&A Truck Parks, Inc., Block 2501, Lot 16, 390 West Commodore Boulevard.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Chisholm.
Yes.
Councilman Sawicki.
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes.
Resolution 219R-22, awarding a negotiated contract to Custom Care Services, Inc., pursuant to NJSA 40A11-5-3 for the services for landscape and maintenance services at various locations within Jackson Township.
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Borelli.
Yes.
Councilman Chisholm. Councilman Sawicki.
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll continue with bills and claims. Motion to approve or hold.
So moved.
Second.
Approved.
I'm sorry, who seconded?
Roll call, please.
Councilman Borelli.
Abstain on NAS 07, RUT 14, and STA 01, but yes to the rest of the bills and claims agenda.
Thank you. Councilman Chisholm.
Abstain on ASP 01, BRI 18, BDW 04, and RUT 14. Yes to the rest.
Thank you. Councilman Sawicki.
Yes.
Council President Fleming.
Yes, but that also means that RUT 14 will not get paid again. Correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
RUT 14 is on hold. Okay, we'll continue with the consent agenda. One vote for the following resolutions. 220R-22, authorize a change in custodian of petty cash funds for the Township's Public Works Department from Robert Staffer to Sean Thomas. 221R-22, request approval for the insertion of a special item of revenue and appropriation pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-87 for the 2022 Cops and Shops Summer Shore Initiative Grant. 222R-22, authorize submission and acceptance of fiscal year 2022 Bulletproof Vest Partnership Fund Grant through the U.S. Department of Justice. 22R-22, request approval for the insertion of a special item of revenue and appropriation pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-87 recreational opportunities for individuals with disabilities grant valid from July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022. 224R-22, amending resolution authorizing an amendment to the 2022 budget to allow for the change in text or title pursuant to NJSA 40A:4-85 matching grant portion of fiscal year 2022 recreational opportunities for individuals with disabilities grant 712021 through June 30th, 2022. 225R-22, annual review of compensation for the members of the boards of fire commissioners for districts 2, 3, and 4 in the Township of Jackson for calendar year 2022. 226R-22, resolution in support of the Senate Bill S-1697 and State Assembly Bill A-757 in support of the state allowing certain volunteer firefighters, rescue, and first aid squad members to claim $5,000 income tax deduction. 227R-22, approve Jackson Township Council meeting minutes of April 26, 2022. 228R-22, authorized tax overpayments. 229R-22, resolution establishing the rate and amount of compensation for extra duty assignments for the Jackson Township Police Department.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilman Morelli.
Yes.
Councilman Chisholm.
Yes.
Councilman Sawicki.
Abstain from 227R-22, yes to the rest.
Thank you. Council President Fleming.
Abstain from 226R-22, yes to the rest.
Okay, thank you. We'll now continue with public comment on any topic. Please address the council at the microphone and identify your name and address for the record.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Shmuel Eckstein. Do you need the spelling? That's
Epstein,
Eckstein, Eckstein.
okay, and your address,
My
please.
address is 8 Linda Drive.
Thank you.
So good evening and thank you all for your service. And I'm here. There is a property at 134 White Road. It is an 8-acre property, which is, and I have pictures and maps that I could show you all. It's a dead zone in between Linda Drive, White Road, Kevin Road, Kevin Court, and Jenny Court. It is only accessible with a 1,000-foot dirt driveway. This property got taken over about 4 months ago by a company called Chris Container. They are a shipping container company, and they modify shipping containers to make them into houses or offices. This is a property which is zoned R1 as residential. It's in the middle of a residential neighborhood. There are right now hundreds of shipping containers back there. They are lined right up against the back of my property line. When I look out my window, that's all I see right now are shipping containers stacked too high. And there are trucks pulling up there, tractor trailers every single day, numerous times a day. They have no way of knowing where they're even supposed to go. They stop in the middle of White Road, which is a little residential street. They block the street for 20 minutes idling in front of houses while they try to figure out how they're supposed to get into this little dirt road. They drive up this little dirt path right behind people's houses, waking up people, shaking their houses with trucks driving on a dirt road. I've been dealing with this for 4 months already. Been speaking to Jeff Papuro, the zoning officer. He told me originally that they said that they're just doing a site cleanup. I said, well, why don't you come down and take a look? He came down to my backyard. He took one look. He said, there's no way this could go on like this. He went down, he gave them a violation, which they ignored. 2 weeks ago, well, there was supposed to be a summons given by the code enforcement officer, which he never did. And finally, Jeff Papuro went down 2 weeks ago and did give them a summons. Supposedly, they say that they're going to be applying for a variance. He told me that that will take at least another 6 months before they get in front of anybody, and there is no way that this should keep going on. We should not have to be, there's no way that this could get approved anyway in the middle of a residential area. And we're kind of at a loss of what we could do. We were advised that maybe if we bring this in front of the council, maybe there's something that you could all do about this to help us out. I do have pictures of the map that I could show you, and I know that there are other people here
Code
also.
enforcement has made us aware of it. I've seen the pictures. I've also kept track of what code enforcement has and hasn't done so far. They're going through their process. I know that doesn't help you or that it doesn't make it any faster, but they are going through their process, and I know it's on their radar. If we can expedite it anymore, I wouldn't want them in my backyard. I understand why you wouldn't want them in your backyard. It doesn't belong there. We'll do the best we can to get it taken care of as fast as we can.
The last we heard from the code enforcement officer, somebody spoke to him last week, and he said, stop bothering me. they're going to get their variance and it's going to happen.
And who was that, please?
This was, I believe it was Michael Cunningham.
Yes, sir.
Mr. McCutcheon, is there, in a case like this, is there anything the township can do to temporarily stop what's going on that property?
Only issue more summonses. I mean, there's not a lot you can do. You would have to file a lawsuit to try to get some kind of a court order. That's unlikely if they say they're going to go get a variance. So I don't believe we'd be successful in that. But the code enforcement and or zoning can issue they can issue summonses for each day there's a violation. So it's not just one summons.
Any idea if they're doing that at this point? I know I'm putting you on the spot on that one, but
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor? And first thing tomorrow morning.
Contact the Office of Code Enforcement, find out who's in Mr. Cheney's spot while he's away. Have them give you the latest report. Okay, then let Greg, myself, Council President Fleming know so he can let all of council know where we're at. Sir, at the end of the meeting, you'd be kind enough to give me some contact information. We'll get you the information that we have on file.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Good evening, gentlemen and ladies, and thank you for your service. My name is Gary Molliver, 91 Crooked Stick Road, Jackson, New Jersey. On March 21st, I gave a copy of this letter to the clerk's office, asking them to deliver it to Mr. Fleming. And I quote, "Dear Mr. Fleming, on February 7th, 2022, I sent the following to you at M. Fleming, whatever it is, at Jackson Township, etc. Mr. Fleming, last Monday, 1/21, I inquired about the status of our application to join the Pathfinders. I was told that we were not appointed, and I would like to know why. Our leadership forms were submitted on 2/1/2021. Please advise." That I never had the courtesy of an answer is disheartening. The reason for the application was put in so far in advance, 2/1/2021, was that I had applied originally on December 17th, 2020. And what a surprise, I never heard anything. When I wrote to Mayor Rena, Samantha was nice enough to respond, but unable to tell me where my application disappeared to and why it was not acted upon. Nor was she able to tell me why no one responded to my email sent directly to the Pathfinders. I'm not wearing my glasses, please bear with me. Committee members are chosen at the reorganization meeting held in January, and if Mrs. Brandman and I weren't selected, the courteous thing would have been a letter acknowledging our application. While I understand that not everyone can be selected, I'd like to know if we're even considered and the reason we weren't accepted. Sincerely, Gary L. Molliver.
I did receive your letter and it's on me for not getting back to you. That's my fault, and I will take responsibility for not getting back to you. I don't know why you were not appointed. I can reach out to the person who's in charge of the Pathfinders. I haven't done so as of yet, but I will, and I will get back to you. You can blame me totally for not getting back to you. I'm sorry, I just didn't do it.
Okay, what type of time frame are we talking about, sir?
I will do the best I can. I have your letter at my place of work, and I look at it and say, I have to do that, and I just haven't. I will try. If it's not going to happen tomorrow, I'll try and do it by the end of the week.
I've waited 2 years. Another week is not going to bother
Okay?
me.
I can't say that it'll get you appointed, but you'll get an answer.
Fine, that's
All right?
all I
And
ask.
you have my apologies, and it should be taken care of better than that. You're looking to volunteer. I cry for volunteers all the time. You have my apologies.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Please.
Hi, my name is Goldie Berkowitz. I reside at 145 White Road. I as well am speaking about what Mr. Eckstein was speaking about with the trucks or the trailers that are passing my home. I'm just going to share another perspective. He sees the trailers, I actually, being parked on his property line. Well, I'm experiencing the actual trucks every morning, starting around 8 or 7:30 in the morning, barreling through the neighborhood. Little children standing at corners, waiting for their buses to arrive. I myself have a 3.5-year-old that, it's as a mom, it's actually very nerve wracking. And, waiting out there for my, 6-year-old that's getting onto his bus with these tremendous containers and the braking, the short stops, and they actually double park in front of my home all the time, actually blocking traffic and across the street at 144 White Road at Nancy and Bill Mullis's home. And actually she approached me over the weekend and said, like, Goldie, did you notice the trucks, like it picked up? At first, it used to be maybe, I'd say a couple of tens a day. Now at this point, I keep tens and tens of trucks are there throughout the day. And we're actually also concerned for the property value. Like, I don't know if anybody would want to sell their home. I wouldn't want to live on a place where trucks are driving. So that is my concern. And, for really I'd say the 100 families that live in the community. And whatever I as well reached out to the zoning department, and he said, yes, we know about it. We gave them a summons. And I said, is there anything we could do to expedite it? And he as well said, well, technically they should stop, but they may not. And we could continue giving them summonses and nothing is really happening. If anything, it did intensify the intensity of how often they're coming. So I appreciate you meeting with us afterwards of what we can do to really cut that to stop, because this is a residential area and we shouldn't be having trucks. This is literally now a commercial zone. You could have at one point 3 trucks being stopped and waiting and cars going around it. And this is all right in front of my home. And it's not only for myself, it's for the entire community. So, all right. Thank you.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, Mr. McCucken, do you know a road like that? I mean, I know the road. It's certainly not a heavily traveled road. Does a road like that in town have a weight limit on it?
You would have to have an ordinance that establishes a weight limit for a road like that, so
I don't know.
we put a weight limit on it. You would need an engineer to give you that recommendation and to then do an ordinance. There's no blanket ordinance that says weight limits on a particular road.
Okay. All right,
Mayor,
thank you.
that's our road, right? Not a county road.
It's our
Yeah.
road. The reason I know it's our road, the lights on.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there a way to
Wait.
stop it immediately or there is no,
You would think there would be.
yeah. I mean,
No.
just,
There's not.
there isn't.
If he doesn't want to play by the rules, it takes us a while to stop him. And it
Right.
doesn't make your life any better or
Yeah.
any easier.
I mean, police officers have been coming down, actually another neighbor on the corner, because they actually like pull into his driveway. There's been, yeah,
Council.
Yes.
okay.
Mayor?
Ma'am, may I ask a question? I didn't ask the gentleman who was up here before you when he said about the trucks stopping on the roadway and they're idling.
Yeah,
They're idling there. Are these full-size tractor trailers just sitting there? They're not moving? Are they blocking, are they prohibiting traffic from flowing freely?
Sure.
When that happens, you can call Jackson PD and tell them there's trucks obstructing traffic, and they can come out there and have them move them right away or issue summonses if there's nobody in those trucks. That, you're well within your means to do that. It's a public safety issue. But to reinforce what I told Council President and the gentleman, we need a little bit more information tomorrow from code enforcement, see where we're at. And we'll do our best to subdue what you're going through right now until whatever. I have no idea what the gentleman's doing. I haven't heard anything about a variance, and I do believe it is R1, that zone. So I don't know what that would go to the zoning board. It's definitely out of my jurisdiction, but we will do all we can
Yeah.
to assist in public safety like we do in every neighborhood.
Any- Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Council.
Anyone else?
Seeing no one else come forward, move to close public portion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Move to close.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks for coming this evening.
Have a good night.